All right. Sister Deborah, prophetess in the wilderness. And you know what? That's all right with me. Coming again on this Deborah platform with another message. And I will say this is a lovely, lovely, early morning in which the Most High, Ahia has made. And I, Sister Deborah, shall and I will rest therein. I'm coming with a title of this video would be "It's Over." It's over. Um, and I believe he or she that walks in the light, in the way to the narrow gate, would actually embrace the fact that it is over. Uh, but only if the Most High, Ahia, has revealed it unto them that it is over. Now, no man would know the day nor the hour, but it is over in a way of people thinking that there's time and season. There's no more time and season. We're actually living in that day, and it's that day. It's called that day because we're in what you call the midnight hour. You remember in Proverbs 16, and I believe it was verse 4, Yah created wicked and evil for the days of evil. We're in that day. You see, the day in which Revelation has warned us as well about. So it's that time and season, it does not exist in Yah right now. Okay, we're in that day. Okay, so it's that day in which many prophets and even Yeshua spoke about. I want to share with you all that in the book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 24, the Father wants you all to understand that he left a flaming sword. Genesis chapter 3, verse 24. He left that flaming sword that it may turn every way so that you may find your way to the tree of life. He wants you to know that that flaming sword still exists today. Even the flood could not destroy the flaming sword that he left, that we as men and women may find our way. And I like the way he says it in Genesis chapter 3 and verse 24. Let me see if I can say it like he has it here. He says, Genesis 3 and verse 24. And it reads, so he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword which turned every way. So when you stand before glory and you say, I didn't know, or I didn't understand, or I didn't get it, or my husband told me this, my wife told me this, my pastor told me this, the Maureen told me this, a seer told me this, a prophet told me this, a prophetess told me this, a watchman told me this, a bishop or a priest told me this. No more mercy. You're standing before the Holy of Holies. He's telling you right today that he left a flaming sword, that it may what? What did it say? That it which turned every way to keep the way to the tree of life. Did the flood destroy it? The days of Noah? No. What is this tree of life, y'all? What is this flaming sword? This is spirit, child, and this is truth. And it's the truth of the matter that he always left the light on for us. He always kept the light on for us, even to today. A lot of people don't even understand it's the same narrow gate that leads to what? Life. That's the tree of life. The narrow gate. He's letting you know. To the elects, they're very few shall find. They're in. This is why he stayed on me about accepting that this need be, Deborah. These things that you see, you behold, you see well because of where I taught you from. The level in which I have taught you and where I taught you brings you to this level of understanding. You see? So this flaming sword is the identical to the narrow gate. That you may find your way. The flame of the sword is the light. Something Sister Deborah said, I think it's been going on 2 years. Go to the light. Head to the light. Go in a direction to the light. Been trying to tell the people, but all I could do is continue working as a servant because it's finished. Should I just give up and say no more teaching, no more revealing? Even after the Father Ahia said, it is finished, Deborah. It is done. It's over. Should I just throw in the towel? No. I'm still on the spiritual journey in which he has called me before the foundation of the world. It does not end because he's constantly revealing things to me, showing me things in spirit and truth that I may see things clear. It doesn't end there for me because he left me with the spirit of endurance because he knew that in this journey, in this race that you're running, you're going to need my endurance spirit all the way to the end of the race. The end of the race could be the end of my life. It don't have to be the end of the world. But I must continue to run the race with the endurance spirit that the Father has put upon me so it can uphold me with the faith spirit that he has birthed in me. And I can just rest in him. So when you hear me saying rest therein, I got much to rest in, you guys. So you every time I come on here, I say, and I shall rest therein. Because I know what rest means. Again, it is spirit and it is truth. And that's what I live on. Not on every word that proceed out of the mouth of man and woman, but every word that proceed out of the mouth of Yah. And I like the way it even says every word that proceed. A lot of people think this is it. The book is his word. No, the book has some verses of what he has to say. But it is not the word that proceed out of the mouth of Yah. You see? He uses words because he knew that it's some things that he's going to teach you from and show it to you as far as live in you, walking in you, speaking out of you, so that you may lead the multitude from this book. See, the multitude see. They want something to see and believe. And in seeing, they see not. And in hearing, they hear not. So this book is really geared to give them more so word so that they can live by it. Okay? But those that are elect and chosen before the foundation of the world, they're built up on spirit and truth. Because the Ruach already has his will that he implant himself into your spirit and your spirit into his. And y'all become one. In what? In his will, in his way, and in his direction, in order, and not in yours. So in Genesis chapter 3, verse 24, he always left the light on for you. So when you stand before him, you're not going to be able to use, I didn't know, or they didn't tell me, or they taught me this, and I was submissive to my husband, and he didn't tell me this, and he didn't tell me that. That's why you got to be careful in when these men are teaching, you are to be submissive or submitted to them. You got to be very careful because that is not what he's saying. You have to be submissive to his spirit that is submissive to a higher, not submitted to his flesh. So you lost, women. You're lost without a cause. And it's on you. Because when you stand before glory for judgment, you think your husband's going to be on your left or your right? Or the one that you have submitted yourself to is going to be able to stand before glory and say she submitted herself to me, or she did what I told her. She was up under me and let me be the leader. No. Y'all, it's not going for that. That's man-made tradition, man-made order. All of it rests in the flesh. Okay? So when Sister Deborah is saying, and I shall rest therein, it's because I'm in the spiritual walk with Yah. I'm not in the fleshly walk with man. I'm in the spiritual walk with Yah. You see? Okay? So in Genesis is the light, the flaming sword in which he has left on, which is his light to show you the way to the what? So you can what? Find the tree of life. Because it is narrow. The gate is narrow. And that's one way. Narrow is a way of identifying that you're on the right track. Because as you're serving Satan on this devil platform, that's where all the multitude goes. Y'all didn't know that, did you? He's telling you the narrow gate, and very few shall find it. He's letting you know you better get with those who's walking in the narrow line. You'll know them, not just by the fruit. Their fruit is going to be different from the fruit of those who's grabbing the multitude. Totally different. You see? And the fruit, it doesn't mean that how much fruit, the amount. It's just saying the fruit itself. Is the fruit spirit and truth? That's what the spirit is pretty much saying. Or is it them speaking out of their natural flesh, their natural wisdom, their natural understanding, their natural knowledge? Because if so, then they're in their feelings, their emotion, and their personal opinion. And you up under all of that. See? So someone is speaking spirit and truth and trying to direct you to the light and to the narrow gate. Very few shall find their end because they're not going to walk in that direction in which you're going because they don't want the narrow gate. They want that which pleases them right now. So that leads us to the study in which I'm going to go into. When you go to Matthew 24, and that's the days of Noah, we're going there. In the days of Noah, it warns you, Yeshua, he warns you that it's going to be like the days of Noah before his coming. Now, this is what I'm hurt in my flesh about. Not too much in my spirit, because I think everything is so beautiful, connected in the word of Yah. It's so beautiful set up because it's just to me it's beautiful because all the pieces, it's like a puzzle, and when I look at it, it all fits. It's all together, and not one piece is missing. That's the beauty of it. In the book of Matthew, chapters 24, in Matthew 24 and verse 37, it reads, "But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of man." What's frightening about it in the natural realm is the fact that people don't still see it coming. They still don't see it coming. In the flesh, they still don't see it coming. Why? Because when they read this, and this in the flesh, flesh wisdom, flesh knowledge, and flesh understanding. They teaching you all this. They're not looking at uh, uh, the real truth of the matter or the spirit and truth. Okay, they're looking at it from a standpoint of the flesh. It speaks in Matthew 24 and 37, but as the days of Noah were, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. They don't understand is this today, and been going on for quite a long time, is part of the coming. And it being for quite a long time. Even you hear the Hebrew Israelites talk about the awakening. They talk about the new, I look at them as the newfound Hebrew Israelite movement, cult, okay? They don't understand what Yeshua is saying here. He's saying it's going to be like the days of Noah, meaning they're going to be messing around all that time. And I'm going to come on right on in when they out there messing around. That's what he's saying. And if you think that the action of the days of Noah was in verse 38, for as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage. That's sex, lust, and all of that. Until the day of Noah entered into the ark. So he's letting you know, Deborah, look, this need be. Yeshua even told them they ain't listened to him. They haven't listened to the prophets. They refuse and reject the word that proceed out of my mouth for the words that proceed out of the man and woman's mouth. See, they don't want to know spirit and truth. They want to make you think they want to know it, but the truth be told, they don't want to know it because the spirit and truth sits right where it has always been with the light on. Okay? So, here in verse 38 of Matthew 24 and 38, it tells you the actions of what they're going to be doing all the way up until the end. Same thing they were doing in Noah. Y'all want me to let you know this, and that is, somewhere along the line, if you are not walking in spirit and truth, you wouldn't get what I'm about to say. The purpose of the days of Noah is to let you know where the mindsets are going to be at continually. The mindset. It's not going to change. So when you go back to Noah, he said, every imagination of their thoughts were wicked and evil continually. That letting you know nonstop. So he wants you to also understand that don't think that when he sets the warning out that it's going to be like the days of Noah, you better understand exactly what it is saying. Not that you better, but you need to. Because a lot of people are teaching a lot of chaos. They're out here trying to deceive people and trying to lead people in their form and get people to be on their side, and they don't even understand them same people are they're gonna be in your class and against you the next year. That's how it's going to turn out. Okay, so because it's been happening over and over and over, and the individuals don't look at it and say, okay, these people was following me 1 minute, now they my enemy. That's because you're trying to get them for you. You're not trying to win the spirits back over to the light. You're not trying to direct them through in the way of the narrow gate. You're trying to get them to make your way, which is the broad gate that leads to destruction. And you're allowing them to go into your gate because you're really actually performing a lot of destruction so that they can have something to continue to go into the narrow gate. Because somewhere along the line, the tribe of Judah enjoy chaos. Oh, they got a spirit of woo! love chaos, love to keep things up. You see men seeing women fighting to the point of death. You see them filming people getting shot, filming bad things that's going on, but then let this European walk straight into their community, into their store, shoot up people, elderly, men, women, and walk out. And you all said not a word, done not a word. If that's not a typical something wrong with the tribe of Judah, I don't know what is. Okay, so back here in Matthews, he's talking about all the things that they're going to be doing. And he wants me to let you know it's deeper than deep. Yeshua gave you the part that he was to give you, but it's deeper than that because Yeshua is telling you the minds are going to be messed up. Let's go back. Genesis chapter 6. And this is why people can sit and they can try to counteract what Sister Deborah is saying and try to hear what she's saying so they can run back and act stupid. Go right ahead. All this way. Because to me, if people around people like that and they can't see that the individual are nitpicking and trying to bring light to themselves, then that's something wrong with the people as well. So they should follow darkness. When you go to Genesis chapter 6, it gives you a kind of it gives you the fullness of why Ahia decided to end the world back in the days of Noah. And as you see in verse 5, Genesis chapter 6 and verse 5, it says, and Yah saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thought of his heart was evil and wicked continually. So are you saying to me that when Sister Deborah say the tribe of Judah is destroyed from here, that's the end game? You sick if you don't get it. You sicker than sick if you don't understand it. It's gone. When I said 90%, I meant 90%. It's gone. And if you can't see what's going on in the world with the tribe of Judah, you're gone. You're more gone than they are. Okay? If tribe of Judah 90%, you're 99.9 gone if you can't see it. Now he says back in the days of Noah, it's going to be that way before the coming of the Son of Man. Sister Deborah sitting, and I told you in the last 2.5 years that the judgment of the Most High is in the midst of the house of Israel. And everybody walking around here like, so what? And they don't see all the things that Judah is doing. And I'm like saying, what? Instead, we should be at the altar 24/24 in repentance, seeking the face of the Almighty, the power of correction. Oh no, we ain't doing that. Why? Listen to this. Verse 5, Genesis chapter 6, verse 5. And Yah saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination, thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Is that not mentally gone? Mentally gone. Every thoughts of the heart is only evil continually. What did I tell y'all? That's what the tribe of Judah is at. That's the only way they're going to be delivered. After that end game of Deuteronomy 28, until they are destroyed. This is a part of being destroyed here. When this is destroyed fully, and that's what the prophetess is seeing. The mindset of Judah. She's hooping and hollering. I don't hoop and holler no more. Y'all know when I was getting here, I said, and they don't see it. I don't get. And y'all said, Deborah, this need be. So when we go over here to Matthews 24 and 37, who's preparing us to be ready for the days of Noah. He said that, Deborah, they wouldn't take that and connect it. They wouldn't connect it. He said that they would look at, okay, feasting and marrying, that's a lot of sex. Shacking up and sex, okay? Feasting and marrying and giving in marriages, that's what that is, a lot of whoring. and sex and all of that, okay? Marrying and giving in marriage, okay? Now you have to understand those marriage and giving in marriage is not legit. Mm. This is why the fathers say that you all are so far out of the narrow direction of the gate that leads to life. You're out of it because when you read this, you read it in the flesh. You don't read it over in the spirit and truth. You read it over in the flesh area. So Yah is saying that when you read Matthew 24 and you see verse 38, for as in the days that were before, there it go, that led the Most High to end it. He called it out and it continued. Continuing. Every imagination, every thought, isn't it coming from here? So why would you think that Sister Deborah would be lying when she said the tribe of Judah is 90% gone? Why would she be lying? Don't it seem like it's backing up into the biblical? See, I don't have to come your precepts and your ways, your line and your little here, your Torah, your understanding, because it's flesh. I come spirit and truth. I come through the front door, not the back. I don't come through the side windows, the bedroom windows. I don't come from under the basement windows. I come straight through the door. And the door is the spirit of the Most High, a higher. Okay? I come straight through that door. Okay? Now listen to here. It says that when it's saying, I'm just showing y'all how he's telling me that they got it, they bent it all up. Because they're thinking when he says, and for in 38, Matthew 24 and 38, he's talking about it's going to be like the days of Noah, during the days before of Noah, and before the Son of Man comes. Now watch this here. If it's that already today, it's that already today, and it's been that for quite a little while. So while everybody is thinking that they got plenty of time, oh, I'm going to wait for this, I'm going to wait for the beast, I'm going to wait for this. A lot of things you're waiting for ain't going to come. That's why he sent the prophets, his true prophets. See, his true prophet ain't got time to be taking a brick upside somebody's head and trying to make them understand their scriptures or what this verse said and this verse said and what Torah said and what this book said and what. See, a true prophet ain't got time for that. Nor a prophetess. Why? They busy giving you the right now word. Because all is finished. All is done. He's not sending prophets of any kind. He didn't then and nor this time to be battling, boosting, and boasting. Nor battling people and searching for errors so that they can climb on top and use the book as an axe to axe people. Y'all ain't going for that. He knows that's the heart of flesh. That's not a heart of the spirit realm. Because the spirit realm going to come in smooth and come out. It ain't got time to see focus week after week after week after month on individual, because I'm trying to break that individual. I'm trying to get that individual so far in the ground so I can step on them and tell everybody, I won. That is not of y'all. That is demonic. That's the same thing Satan did in heaven. He had that backup, that third being his backup while he was doing what he was doing in the glory, in the holy of holy. Here he is doing what he's doing in the third, in the heavens, y'all, where glory is at. So what makes you think they're not going to be performing them same acts on the earth? Yes. What made a third follow Satan? Would be right now today. Would be 1,000 following an individual. 10,000. 500. 20. It don't matter. Following one individual that ain't doing nothing but keeping up a bunch of hell. And people are desiring that hell that individual is keeping up. And they rather follow them. And Yah said, Deborah, this need be like it is in heaven and was on the earth. What took place? Satan did the identical thing that many on this platform is doing and have done. They feel that their subscribers in life is the fruit of the spirit. They believe that the subscribers in life is their they reward. See, they're setting up on the earth and thinking that they're doing something, and they don't understand. Heaven says, in heaven, like it is on the earth. Earth is like the heavens, and that's how Satan got kicked out. So when he got kicked out, did you think that that plan of taking that third has disappeared only with him? Guess what? He taught many how to feel good about grabbing people and letting people praise them and be behind them and with them in wrongdoing. And then the people sit there with no spirit of endurance, discerning, no spirit of Yah that tries the spirit by the spirit. Because when you someone leading you and you behind and they teaching you and they leading you, you should be able to look at that and discern it in the spiritual realm. If you're not being able to discern it, it's because your heart is where their heart is at. And you have no spirit of discerning, nor do you have the Ruach HaKodesh to be able to try the spirit by the spirit. And that's what I think is sad. People don't understand heaven. It happened in the heavens. It's happened on the earth, even to today. That's why people are following people by great numbers in things that does not have any spirit and truth, but they falling behind. So I say, I'm going to hold on to my endurance spirit and the faith spirit that Yah has put in me. You know, along with his Ruach. I'm just going to hold on to all that beautiful stuff. Y'all can do what you want. All I'm going to do is keep on keeping on, because as long as he's giving me the endurance spirit, I'm going to keep on running for my Father and what he wants me to do. I'm going to keep in this race until I get to the end, because he's going to always be at the end as he is at the beginning of every race that I run. Okay, so here he wants you to know that in Matthew 24 and 38, they got here, Yeshua speaking, he's talking about they're going to be eating and drinking. You got to understand what eating and drinking mean. Eating is a form of people running to restaurants, going out to eat, gathering and eating, and all these feast days they call in, and all these days they can get together to glut and to eat. Let me tell you, this is what he's talking about. Drinking, meaning drinking things that's not good for their bodies, that does not represent spirit and truth. Same way with the eating. It's not food that's good for the spirit. They're eating natural food and eating it abundantly and calling it a feast. He said, now they're going to have these things going on, these activities going on, and it's going to deal with eating, okay? Eating and what? Drinking. They're going to introduce to the people alcohol, liquor. They start off by telling them wine. And then anytime you start drinking wine, it takes you to the different another level. A lot of people don't understand that. Same with smoking. Every level that you take yourself to, where it starts off, oh, I can handle this. This is not bad at all. It always going to take you up a ladder, higher and higher. And it's going to be to the point where it brings you totally down. Okay? So don't think that when he's saying eating and drinking, that that's just something basic. And that's where the error is at. And Yeshua is saying eating and drinking to not let you think that it's just basic eating and basic drinking. When he says marrying and giving in marriage, he's not talking about basic marrying and giving in marriage. Because you know right now, today, it's a lot of divorce, separation. So what is this marrying he's talking about and giving in marriage? A lot of sex. A lot of sex that's going to be going on. A lot of sex. Whoremongering, whoring, adultery. A lot of those things going to be taking place. This is what they're doing. Why you say that, Sister Deborah? Sister Deborah, you got to stop. Why? You got to understand, it says that they're going to be eating and drinking and marrying and giving in marriage until the day of Noah enter into the ark. You got to understand, you got to take that and put it in the right category. Now, back in Genesis, when he decided to end the world because they were what? Taking wives, as many as they please. The daughters of men was being born. So not only were they taking wives, they were taking young girls, as many as they please. Okay? So it wasn't saying that they were taking these wives and they were serving Yah, or they were doing something positive or righteous. They did everything wicked and evil. Why? He says in Genesis 6 and verse 5, every thought, every imagination, a thought was evil and wicked continually. That means nothing they would think wasn't wicked and evil. Every thought. That's what it was like in the days of Noah. So when you just see him feasting, eating, and when they say and eating, that's feasting and gluttony, and that's getting together and eating. Everywhere you turn around, people want to gather together to eat. Everything's about eating and drinking. So don't think it's drinking Kool-Aid and lemonade and water. No, it means drinking things that's not good for your body. Yeshua, along with all the other ones, will not, and they are not telling you that it was something just basic, because it wouldn't be no need to put things that's just basic. It want you to understand, when you connect the days of Noah in Genesis 6 and 5 with the days of Noah in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and 1 Peter, you get a fullness that, wait a minute, this is the wicked of the wickedness. And they got it saying it so pretty. That's why you don't hear the Maureen and the teachers and the pastors and the bishops and the evangelists and the prophets and the prophetess and the seers and the watchmen and the Maureen. You don't hear them really teaching it to the fullness, because they don't want to go. The men do not want to go over in Genesis chapter 6 and preach that thing and teach that thing in spirit and truth. That's another era they will not go in. They will not go into Genesis chapter 3, where he break that thing down as far as putting Adam into the out of the garden, and break that thing down from Genesis chapter 3, really Genesis whole chapter 3. Break that thing down. They ain't gonna do that. They ain't gonna break down Genesis chapter 6. They ain't gonna break that thing down. First thing, only way they gonna break it down, oh, it was the fallen angels. It was the giants. But they ain't gonna tell the truth of the matter. That man was already sinning big time. And those sons of Yah, when they saw what the sons of man was doing, they got detached and decided to do what they saw. And every thought and imagination of them all become wicked and evil. So whether they wants to say it's the fallen angels or whatever, or giants, they can say what they want. When it all said and done, you better get with the Spirit and Truth program, because you're teaching people lies. They won't cover that. That in Genesis chapter 6 and verse, the whole chapter 6, it bounces off of Matthew's, Mark, Luke, and John regarding the end, and how the ends like the days of Noah. Why do it bounce off? You got to be careful, because in Matthew's, and I think it's in Luke, it talks about it's going to be like the days of Noah when the coming of the Son of Man. But watch this here. But they don't expound. Just cut the cheese. And Yeshua and Matthew was saying about the food, the drinking, the marrying, and giving in marriage. It's deeper than that, child. Every imagination was evil and wicked. The prophetess been saying it for years. Something is wrong. They ain't going to grip it, Deborah. This thing is spirit and truth. This is what proceed out of the mouth of God. It's what man can't handle. Why would Yeshua think y'all have to fast for 40 days? Why was Yeshua fasting before he went up to the mountain to be tempted? To be tempted, you wanted to understand that was the will of the Father setting a platform for Sister Deborah. You see? And those that are likened to. You see? So why did he have to have all that done? Because he was going up there in the flesh to represent Sister Deborah that might have to go up to mountains in her flesh and let her understand, Sister Deborah, you don't live on bread, baby, alone. And they ain't talking about natural bread. They talking about words that proceed out of the mouth of man versus word that proceed out of the mouth of woman. You see? Everybody want to connect that with the food. But no. They speaking of the word that proceed out of the mouth of man and the word that proceed out of the mouth of Yah. Which one? We got to go for the one that with Yah. The words that proceed out of the mouth of Yah is what you really going to live by. And that's why the Son of Man went up there. He went up to the mountain without the Son of Yah. But the Son of Yah still was the overseer. That's why Satan was tempting him. He felt he could get him because he knew that Yeshua was up there without Christ. That Satan knew. Oh, I got him now. He up here in the flesh. Because the fasting wasn't for. See, people don't understand when Yeshua went out to fast. He had no need to fast in the way that he was fasting. If the rock of the Most High was already in him, in that form, he was fasting for his flesh. Yah was preparing his flesh to go up there to that mountain. Because the flesh of who we are is what's going to be tempted in our lifetime. Throughout the beginning, coming in and going out. So Yeshua had to be tempted. His flesh had to be tempted. That's why he was saying, it is written. It is written. Where is it written? In the heavens before the foundation of the world. That man is not going to live on bread alone, which is even the word that proceeds out of his mouth. But every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yah. So Yeshua was on the mountain in the flesh. And Satan was tempting the flesh. So Yeshua was setting an example for us that we also in our flesh should go to many mountains. But know that every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yah is truly what we're going to live on. Every word that proceed out of the mouth of Yah. You see? So and did it stop Satan? No. Satan went in again. Why? Because Satan knew that he was going up against flesh. He knew he was going up against flesh. He was going up against flesh. But Yeshua did an excellent job referring back to what is written in the heavens. Meaning he was speaking spirit and truth to Satan. And Satan knew exactly what he was talking about. Satan was in the spirit, tempting him. He knew exactly what he was saying, where it is written in the heavens before it was on the earth, that man is not going to live on bread alone, but every word that proceeds out of the mouth of a higher. So he began to tempt him and talking about taking him to a higher mountain. That's just like the movie stars, Tyler Perry and Oprah and all of them that gets up there. And he's a higher mountain and you're going to get this and you're going to gain this and gain this. He continued to tell him. It's really about the Father, a higher. You see? That's why he had to fast before he go up. That's why it says he fasts to be tempted. It was a part to prepare him to be tempted in the flesh. Now, let's go back here. And we missed it. You're going to continue to miss it until you understand spirit and truth. This thing is bigger than this book. You see? You got to be able to be up under the rock. Shut your ugly, 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 ugly mind. Close your ugly, 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 ugly mouth. You see? And be up under the Ruach HaKodesh and let him teach you things that are spirit and truth. If he's not able to teach you, he's going to let you teach yourself and everybody else teach you. And then you're going to go out half-cocked, thinking you ruling and you knowing everything, trying to judge everybody based on your flesh emotions, your flesh feelings, your flesh understanding, your flesh wisdom, your flesh knowledge, and your flesh wisdom. And you're going to boom up thinking you somebody, all in the flesh. And you're going to have many following you, clapping with you, laughing with you, grinning with you. And all the time they clapping and laughing, guess what? They're going to become your every enemy. They're going to know you inside out, outside in. And they're going to be your worstest enemy. Oh, they're your friends today. They're going to be your enemy tomorrow. Why? Because you led them to do things that is destructive, that leads people to the broad gate. You're not leading the people to the narrow gate. You're not leading them to the light. You're not leading them into spirit and truth. Why? Because the spirit and truth don't want to have nothing to do with you. So you lead them only where you think that you are equipped to lead them. Okay? So it says here in Genesis, he wants you to understand. He said, let them know that eating and that drinking is deeper than deep. Okay? That marriage and that giving in marriage is deeper than deep. That's whoremongering, whoring, sexual lust, all kind of things that's going on with connected to this marrying and giving in marriage until the day of Noah. See, what people didn't understand, they didn't turn back to Genesis chapter 6 and see what was on the mind of the Father to destroy the whole world back then. What was on the mind that it can refer you back in the New Testament to the Old. Because people missed it. And they still missing it. They think that they just going to take this new and it's going to be like the days of Noah and just look at the part where it says marrying and giving in marriage and then they're going to have a nail. No, baby. You got to get into the spiritual realm of what Yeshua is saying here. It's deeper than deep. See, it reads as eating and drinking and marriage and giving in marriage, but there's a spirit and truth about this. The truth of the matter of what he's saying. Then you got to go swing back to Genesis and see in chapter 6 what was going on in Noah. See, that's what they don't understand. So where he says, let me go into verse 9:39. Matthew's 24 and verse 39. And knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall it also be of the coming of man be. See? So we're really thinking that we're all going to get out of here and it's going to be this, it's going to be like, no. The multitude that's going to the broad gate, this is for you. It's just letting you know everything is going to be just like it once was. And if we're thinking it's just about feasting and marrying and giving in marriage, let's go. Let's go to Peter. First Peter. It's deeper than deep. And it's kind of sad because the way the people that's teaching and leading the people, leading them all kind of other ways except for in the way of the light. In Peter chapter, 1 Peter chapter 3. Now just listen to this. Let's listen to this. In verse, we're going to start with verse 20. No. Let me get my verse here. 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 20. Yeah, verse 20. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 20. Which sometimes were disobedient when once the long suffering of Yah waited in the days of Noah. See how he waited? He long suffered. Look at that. You all look at it. Look at that. Which sometimes were disobedient, when once the long suffering of Yah. You see that long suffering? So don't ever estimate that Ahiah does not suffer. Christ suffered. We know he suffered. We know Yeshua suffered. But this is telling you that Ahiah, long suffering, when once long suffering of Yah waited in the days of Noah. See, Yah suffer because at any time, Yah's long suffering is when you're able to see at any time, he can go like this here, and the world could end. What are you doing, Father Ahiah? Waiting for Noah to create a boat or an ark. What for? Well, you can do like this, and it's over. Before he even closes it, it's over. He suffered, holding back. That's what that suffering is, holding back that power to do it a way that he know that he can. And he suffer his power to not go forth at a blink of an eye. So he long suffered his wait until Noah, meaning he watched the people. Every thought of their imagination was wicked and evil. He watched and suffered. Because at any time he could have did it and it would have been over. But he suffered by allowing it to continue. Where it was at that displeased him, that gave him the first thought, that's it. Let me cut it out. Right here. This is where I got to cut it out. But he didn't. Did not he long suffer when he allowed Satan to continue until a third decide to catch on to him and follow him? That's long suffering. We don't understand that this creator that we call Ahiah and Yahuwah, he long suffered because at any time he can end something and stop. But he suffered and said, oh, I want to end it. I want to do it. Oh, I should just end it. Oh, no, I need to end it. It's just too much of it. I can't see every evil thought, imagination continue. Oh, he's suffering, y'all. He's suffering. Oh, no, I got to build the ark and I got to let them continue. Oh, he suffered in allowing sin and wickedness to have its way when he is righteous, and at any minute he can blink his eyes and it'll all be wiped away. But he suffered allowing the time for Noah to build an ark just so Noah 7 can be saved. If that's some long suffering, I don't know what is. So we look at today and we see all this chaos going on. He's long suffering as I speak. He's long suffering as I speak. So as you see here in Peter, let's go over that again. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 20, which sometimes were disobedient, when once the long suffering of Yah waited in the days of Noah, while the ark was a preparing within few, that is 8 souls, were saved by water. 7 souls. He long suffered, waiting till he built the ark so the 7 can get on, and all the other one die He waited for just the 7 to get on this ship, on this ark. Could not he have did it? Yes, he could have upheld them and still had the flood. But you all don't understand, and this is why I say you're wrong. You're wronger than wrong because you disrespect him, you profane his name, you disrespect him, you dishonor him. And he is the creator of the beginning and the end of all things. How dare anyone tamper with someone with such great power, authority? How dare someone tamper with someone who has the beginning and the end in the palm of his hand? But you as people, you do just that. And you thinking you're going somewhere. You thinking you're going to be something in him. No, you're not. He long suffered. He could have ended back in Noah. He could have ended them a long time ago. At a blink of an eye. You see? And that's why I think that you don't have no respect for him. None whatsoever. For him to be what he is in you. You don't have no, you want to teach this thing, you want to preach this thing, you want to hear this thing, you want to speak this thing. But you don't want to trust in being the one that worship him, honor him, respect him, serve him, do the things that pleases him, desire the things that pleases him, pray that he give you the things that pleases him. No, you want to do everything these people on this platform tell you and believe everything they say versus everything he says, especially out of even out of the mouth of those he sent. You don't want to hear that. You would rather believe what the heathens and the Gentiles are showing you on TV and on films and on videos than to hear what the mouth of the Most High is sending through his prophets and his prophetess. And that's sad. But it is what it is. He said, Deborah, this too need be. So I sit here and I look at the long suffering here, and he was saying that he waited in the days of Noah while the ark was was a preparing within few, just to take those few. He long suffered for them to be able to get onto that ark, and he suffered long by allowing that sin that was messed up here. The days of Noah. Don't forget Deuteronomy 28. The end game is till they are destroyed. Here, every thought of their imagination was wicked and evil. It didn't say that's it. No, it says continually. That means it was nonstop. So he suffered them to continue like that he was not approved by, that it just put in him ended. He could have ended with a blink, but he suffered long, allowing it to exist until Noah has built the ark. He didn't have to do it that way, but it goes back to show you he ain't you and he ain't me. He's beyond us. His long suffering is totally different. That's why Sister Deborah have to endure. That means suffer a little while. If he can suffer this, surely I can suffer a little while longer. Hallelujah. I can suffer a little while longer. If he can long suffer this, I can suffer a little while longer. Plus, he gives you the endurance spirit too. Oh, you tell me ain't that deep. That's what endurance is. It's long suffering. I'm going to give you something so you can endure this thing, Deborah, and hold out. And I want to say to him, Most High, Ahaya, thank you. You're the best. You're the greatest. You're the excellent one. You're the perfect one. And I thank you. Father, Ahaya, I thank you. So, here you see what he is saying here in 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 20. I want to up a little bit because I did say I wanted to go a little here and a little there everywhere. I want to also reveal to you here in 1 Peter chapter 3, and I want to go up a little higher to 17, and we're going to go down. 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 17, for it is better if the will of Yah be so. The best thing. That's why I told y'all that's beautiful. His will is beautiful. You just got to see it in spirit and truth. Okay, watch this here. Verse 17, First Peter chapter 3, verse 17. For it is better if the will of a higher be so, that ye suffer for well doing than for evil doing. See what I'm saying? So he say, I give you the endurance. Why is he giving me this spirit of endurance? Because you're going to have to suffer for the well doing that I'm giving you to do. You're going to do the well doing. And in it, you're going to suffer. And I need to give you something so you can endure until the end. And you shall be saved, Deborah. Because listen to 17. For it is better if the will of a higher be so. His will. And only his will. Not people on this devil platform. Why people following these people like they God is because in heaven, Satan was being followed by angels. Like it is in heaven, it is done like that on the earth. Okay. Now, that ye suffer for well doing than for evil doing. So if Sister Deborah is suffering for well doing, what is going on? Sister Deborah keep on hooping and hollering, telling y'all, do y'all see these killings? Do y'all see what they doing? Why they doing this? Why they doing this? Why y'all they can't do this? We can't do this. Deborah, this need be. Let me give you something. I'm gonna give you something. I'm gonna give you the spirit of endurance because you're gonna suffer in what you see. You go to Deuteronomy 28. See it's all like a beautiful puzzle. Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy 28. Now listen to this. Deuteronomy 28, and let's go to verse 34. I notice people really don't follow you when you giving them the verse, and that leads me to realize that people are still going to be lost. They're going to be still walking in darkness because they don't follow because they want only what they hear and believe. And what they don't want to and want to see you speak and believe. They don't want to go so you can try to show them the level of spirit and truth that rise beyond just in this book. They don't want to see it in that form. So they close their eyes to it. They don't even, you giving them scriptures and they won't follow it because they so used to just hearing and believing. You see, and seeing with their natural eyes and believing. No, this thing is spirit and truth. You got to see it for what it is. Just like I was explaining to you in Matthew 24 and how in 37, 38, and 39, how when he says food, eating, and drinking in the days of Noah, marrying, it's not what you reading and perceiving. It's deeper in the spiritual mission. It's totally deeper than food that you eat. You see, it's deeper than drink that you drink. It's deeper than marrying and giving in marriage than you see. It's whoremongers. You see? Sex trafficking, breeding, all this stuff is what he's saying when he said marrying and giving in marriage. Because men are giving these young girls and breeding them and giving them to men for pleasure. These young girls ain't even got a mind to know right from wrong. They can't even tell they left from they right. But what are they used for? Sexual. Marrying and giving in marriage. Which I can't take you there if you don't go to the scripture so I can bust it out of the scripture and bring you to a higher realm, which is spirit and truth. I can't do that if you don't go there. So it don't matter with me. It's finished. It's over. It is over. Sister Deborah just still got to continue the race. And the race is still connected to what he give me. I can still speak it. And I thank you for that. But see, this is when he's saying to heathens, he's saying the long suffering. In Deuteronomy 28 and 34, it says, so that thou shalt be mad. Go on here. For the sight of thy eyes. There go to eyes. For what you're going to see in your sight of your natural eyes. That's the natural eyes. It's not the spiritual eye. It's the natural eyes, which thou shalt see. You'll go mad for the sight of what thy eyes, which thou shalt see. This is Deuteronomy 28, going back to you. Deborah, the end game to Deuteronomy, you're going to see it. Okay? And you're going to be mad for what you see. Mean mad out of your mind for what you see. Because of the things that's going to be taking place. The end game. Now, you go back here, and it says in verse 17 of First Peter, First Peter chapter 3 and verse 17. For it is better if the will of Ahiah be so, and it is, that ye suffer for well doing. He's speaking of those that's going to be able to see with the sight of their eyes and be mad at the sight of what they're going to see. Here you go. That's me. That's Sister Deborah all the way. And watch this here. And what is it? The sight? That ye suffer for well doing than for evil doing. So the ones in Deuteronomy is going to see and going to be mad because of what they're going to see. They're going to suffer for what they're going to see. Praise the Most High, Ahia. That's me all the way. I get on this devil platform, hear these people talking, listening to these people. It bothers me here. What? Why? Because I'm like saying, you mean you teaching people that? Everything people are teaching seems like it's just pitch dark, midnight, wicked and evil. And the people just, woo, praise, woo, hallelujah. I mean, just like in the church. Homosexual pastors teaching, they just praising. That's how it is on this platform. And I like this in 17 because it also kind of connect me to Deuteronomy 28 and verse 34. You're going to go mad for what you're going to see. That's only for those who are in the light. They're going to see it in the natural. They're going to see it and go mad for what they're going to see because they know they can't change it. They already done saluted the will of the Father. They didn't saluted his judgment. They didn't salute his curses. They didn't salute his chastising. They didn't salute his discipline. They didn't salute everything that the Father has said. And that's what it says in 17. For it is better if the will of Yah be so that you suffer for well doing. You see? Now let's go to 18. We're in 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 18. For Christ also have suffered for the sins. Christ also have suffered for the sins. See? Christ. Now with me as a prophetess in the wilderness that knows the light, walk therein, knows the narrow gate, I'm looking at, wait a minute, what you mean Christ? I'm just saying when I was in my ignorance, I didn't know, but I know now. What you mean Christ suffered? Christ is his power. It is Yah. It is Yah's power. And it says it what? It has once suffered for sins, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to Yah. 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 Christ is his right hand. It is the power of Ahia. It came down with Yeshua, with spirit and with word. It has suffered like unto the long suffering of Yah. It has suffered because at any time the greatness of its power could have changed the whole route of Yeshua HaMashiach, but it did not. It completed it because it is Yah's power. And it brings you to Yah and Yah to you. How? The power usher you before the throne and brings the Holy Spirit into your spirit. That's what Christ does. It is his power. Okay. Now, and it says here in verse 18, 1 Peter chapter 3, for Christ also have suffered for sin. Then you hear when it says, and Yah suffered long for during the days of Noah until the ark was completed. All that time he suffered, because at any time he could have blinked his eye and ended, but that's not who he is. He don't think like us. His thoughts are not like ours. His ways are not like us. See, he don't think like that. He long suffered through it until the seven was on that ark. All that time, letting the people have that wicked and evil carrying on, knowing he already going to destroy it, but he had to wait until Noah finished the ark. Okay, so he suffered long through that. So here it says, and Christ also have suffered for the sins of what? The just for the unjust. He was just and he suffered for the unjust. He suffered for the unjust. How did he suffer? That he might bring us. He might bring us to Yah. My phone is right here. My hand pick up this phone and bring it to my ear, to my fingers to dial. Yah's hand is to Christ. He brings us to Yah, and then he also brings the Ruach, the Spirit of Yah, into us. Watch this. Being put to death in the flesh. It's letting you know that Christ was put to death, meaning it suffered flesh to go down. The flesh in which it abide in died. Okay? It was put to death with the flesh. But it wasn't death itself. It just went down. The flesh went down, which is Yeshua. He was the flesh. So he being put to death in the flesh. Okay? That's meaning that bringing Yah to us, being put down in the flesh, but quickening in the spirit. You see that? He's letting you know Yeshua was put down in the flesh. But his part is the quickening by the spirit. He is the spirit that was. See, what you mean, Sister Deborah? Okay. He went all the way with Yeshua to Gethsemane. When you heard Yeshua saying, take away this bitter cup, not my will, but thy will, he was talking to Christ. Okay? Christ is the word. Christ is the power of Yah's right hand, the word, and Yah's spirit. Okay? But the right hand of Yah, what is he asking him? Take away this bitter cup. Take away this feeling, this thing that I'm going through, or this way. This is what I'm going through. Take it away, said Yeshua. Who was he saying take away this bitter cup to? He was talking about Christ. That same Christ that would bring us to Yah. He was telling him to take that away. He said, okay, no, not my will, but thy will. You see? So he went all the way, even when he was on the cross. You heard Yeshua again say, why have thou forsaken me? Why? Because the power, the spirit, and the word was ascending out of him. Why? Because Christ had to die on the cross in the flesh. He couldn't die in the spirit. That's why you see here he said, and put to death in the flesh, but quickening by the spirit, by the spirit, by the spirit, not in the spirit, but by the spirit. Why? Because you can't destroy the spirit of the Most High God. So that's why instant when he gave up the ghost, bam, that was it. Because it wasn't that he needed to go to the cross like I would have to go to the cross. Okay? Yeshua needed to go to the cross like I would. He couldn't go with Christ. He had to go alone. And that's why he was saying to Christ, Take away this bitter cup. Why? Because Christ is the right hand of the Father. Remove this. Take this away. He knew at any time that Christ could do it. But then he said, no, not my will, but thy will be done. You see, the Father's will must be done. He knew that the power of Yah is in his right hand. And that was the power of Yah that came down to help him for the whole mission. He knew that. Yeshua knew. That's why I say he did a beautiful job. Oh, an excellent job of setting an example for us to walk upright and to do the will of the Father. But we choose not to, even to today. Now, in verse 19, we're still in 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 19, by which also he went and preached unto the spirits in prison. Verse 1 Peter chapter 3, by verse 19, by which also he went and preached unto the spirits in prison. He preached to them in prison. Verse 20, which sometimes were disobedient, when once the long suffering of Yah waited in the days of Noah. So it going back. Those that he went to preach to, okay? Now, who went to preach to the spirits? The quickening spirit that came out of Yeshua, okay? He went by the Spirit. But which also he went preached into the spirit in prison. Okay? Spirit. You see that S, y'all? Do you see the S? So a lot of times we thinking people are flesh and souls. No, it's flesh and spirit. You can keep on kicking around with that soul, but if you really do your study in spirit and truth, you will find out that it's no soul. It's only spirit and flesh and spirit. Okay? So he's preached to the spirits in the prisons, because those are the only two things judging you from the flesh on the earth, and when you judge from the spirit, you're going to be judged from your spirit in the heavens. Just like he went down there to preach to the spirits in the prisons. And it connected to the preaching to the spirits in the prison, I thought was beautiful there, because it's almost saying those that the sons of man that was back in the days of Noah. Go back to Genesis. Let's see if that's Genesis chapter 6. It's almost, and it's pretty much saying, listen to this. Okay, in Genesis chapter 6, verse 2, it says, Genesis chapter 6, verse 2, that the sons of Yah saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. So when you hear in the New Testament, and Yeshua is saying in Mark, Luke, and John, they're saying marrying and giving in marriage. This is what they're talking about. The same thing that happened in Noah. That's why I said you got to be able to understand it in spirit and truth. Now, in this right here in Genesis chapter 6, verse 2, Sister Deborah don't see this like every scholar. If Sister Deborah don't see this like every Hebrew Israelite man. Sister Deborah don't see this like that. I see it in the area of spirit and truth. What was going on? Men were walking around having babies by all these women, okay? Daughters, okay? You know, back then, they were really selling them off, getting things to give their daughter to someone. It's almost like pleasure. It's almost like for a man's pleasure, you were selling your daughters off. Get to reading your word, y'all, and you will see that. See what Abraham, servant, paid for Abraham to get for Isaac, his wife. This is the sort of trade-off that they did. And I don't think her father was alive, so he gave it to his brother. See, it was always about this. And here they were taking as many as they pleased. Who was they? The sons of Yah. So I believe those that was the sons of Yah also is I can't, I'm pinpointing it to be uh First Peter chapter 3 verse 19, by which also he went and preached unto the spirits in the prison. And then it goes to verse 20, which sometimes were disobedient when once the long suffering of Yah waited in the days of Noah. So I'm thinking those were the sons of Yah. Okay, that he went to the prisons to speak, to preach to the spirits. Okay, so even there is something that's really deep that prepared you a different way than natural, but in a way that every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yah, you really have to really get into that to really understand what it's really trying to inform you of. Okay, so when we go there, and I can't remember. I'm gonna look. Um, when we go there, and oh, I'm not going to accept no calls. And the sad part is about, would y'all believe I turned this phone down? That shows me the capacity of how uh, 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 they can break through your phone any way they want. They can come through you. Past. Um, I want to cover. Let me see. I want you to see something that's very like the days of Noah and the days of Lot in the Bible. I want you to see even it explained to you that it wasn't just the days of Noah that it's going to be like unto. It's also going to be just like unto the days of Solomon, not Solomon and Gomorrah, the days of Lot. And I want to show you that because, see, I want to show you that so that you can understand. And it's going on Luke 17, Luke chapter 17, because I want you to understand that a lot of us is really confused in our flesh because we've been learning in our flesh for so many years. And people talk about in the church, Christians. The last thing people need to talk about is Christians because they are so much identical twins to Christians, the Hebrew Israelite movement. Their understanding still of Christians, still their ways still rest within them. It's because it's not about Christians. It's about who you are, who you really are, you see, and it still rests in them. Now, in the book of Luke, I want to share this with you because people really don't understand. It's deeper than what they flesh wisdom and they flesh knowledge and they flesh understanding. It is spirit and truth. So it goes beyond what you say you learned and what you understand. So in the book of Luke chapter 17, and we're going to go through that. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean in 26. I hope that this is it. Oh, yeah, this is it. Let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 17. And we're still dealing with Yeshua giving us insight of the way it's going to be when the Son of Man comes. Now, you all got to understand this. The long suffering that the Most High had waiting for the ark to be built was that he saw all of this, that he wanted to just and end. He wanted to end it through the flood. But what did he do? He held back, so he suffered long, allowing it to continue. So if you're thinking for 1 minute, all your sins and all your wickedness is going to continue to the end of the time, and you're going to get away with it, and everything's going to be all well, let me tell you something. Keep sitting in that seat. It's going to get hotter and hotter and hotter because you ain't seen nothing yet. I think today is likened to no other days. Even though it's given us a kind of an example of the way it was back in the days of Noah and the days of Lot, but it also setting a warning, such a large form of warning to where when you stand before glory, you ain't gonna have a word to say but to go to hell, the lake of fire, because it's just so much that's out here that you can see. The light that's in Genesis chapter 3 is the flaming sword that you may find your way to the tree of life. It's still lit. It's still waiting for us. You see, and we're still going into darkness in the minds and understanding of man and woman instead of going in the mind of the most higher through his spirit. Okay, now in Luke chapter 17 and verse 26, let's start there. And as it was in the day of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of man. Now, the day of man, hear me now, y'all. Be careful. Be careful, y'all. Be careful. Please be careful. Because you can't back everything you read it into the day of man, which is the day of Yeshua when he comes to collect his, okay? What he's saying is, when he come to collect his, this is all the stuff that's going to be going on, not because it's going on up until that day, which it is, but that it had been going on for so long. The long suffering of the Father has endured all of this for so long. And that's why today is different than yesterday. It's greater and worse. And the judgment is greater. How can a judgment, Sister Deborah, be worse than ending the world? Because it's stepping into the realm. It's taking you straight. It ain't going to rebuild it like you think. It's taking you to judgment, to the judgment seat. That's how serious it is. See, when the days of Noah, it didn't take you straight to the judgment seat. But this one will. So when you're thinking you preparing and he's going to be sensitive, he's going to be, the grace and mercy going to be poured out on you. And no. It's over, baby. It's finished. Okay. Now let's go to Luke chapter 17, verse 26. And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the Son of Man. 27. They did eat. They drank. They married wives. They were given in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. The flood came and destroyed them all. Now, don't forget, y'all long suffered. Way before then. Before the ark was created. Was finished. Okay? So, all of this stuff that they're doing today, they're going to be doing when Yeshua come to get here. So if they're doing it today, what time period is that telling you we in? Strictly the days of Noah. Those were the warning signs of how the wicked and evil is going to be portrayed. And let me tell y'all something. Don't get messed up. When he said drinking and eating, that's not good. When he said marrying and giving in marriage and wives, that's not good. That tells every Hebrew Israelite man you're only going to have one wife. Because if you have more than one, then that takes you right back to the days of Noah of why Yah just decided to destroy the world. The sons of man decided to take as many wives as they please. Is that not what the Hebrew Israelite spirit of demonic spirit has taken these men? Yes, it has. So stop denying his truth just to live a lie. I just don't get it where people feel that they're going to live lying and enjoy it and rest in their end. But they're going to, but Sister Deborah is the warning. It's over. It's finished. So if you're going to live your life, you're going to live it. But you're going to die too. Lake of fire is waiting just for you. It's got your name on it. So if you want to continue to walk that way, it's all on you. To me, as a prophet is in the wilderness, it's finished. It's over. Okay? Now listen to this. So when he's in Luke chapter 17 and 27, he said, they did eat, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage until the day of Noah entered into the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them. Is that not what I was saying? The minds of the tribe of Judah is destroyed. It's got to be destroyed. Deuteronomy 28, the end game of Deuteronomy 28 is that the tribe of Judah is destroyed. And they are being destroyed by their wicked and their evil. Just like the days of Noah. Every imagination and thought of their mind was evil and wicked continually. And that is in Genesis chapter 6 and verse 5. See, they try to escape it all. You ain't going to escape it. Now watch this here. Verse 28. Likewise, So likewise also as it was in the days of Lot. Oh, wait a minute, Father. Ahaya, you let Yeshua go to Lot? Yes, Deborah. So you can understand back in Lot, what they were doing is what they're doing today. Homosexual. And he's not talking about Lot with the homosexual women. He's including that. But guess what he's talking about? The days of Lot, there were men and young men, meaning boys and men, involved in that sexual activity. And Sister Deborah done said to y'all a million times, your husband, your brother, your father, your grandfather, and everybody who been messing with these babies, yes, they are sex trafficking, breeding virgins so you can give to these men on these camps that you're breeding, and telling men that they can have as many as they please, and there it is, shooting you dead in your face, telling you the end days, and how y'all come up with the fact that I'm gonna end it now because they taking wives as many as they please. They erase that. The men won't preach that to y'all. They won't teach it. But take your tail over there and read it for yourself. But if you ain't got the Ruach HaKodesh, you ain't got no business over there reading because you still ain't gonna understand it. Okay, so in 28 it says, likewise also it was in the days of Lot. When he said in the days of Lot, it was going to be like the days of Lot. The days, listen to what it says. Likewise also in the days, days with an S of Lot. What was going on in those days? That's what he wants you to look at. Not just so much that the day he's going to destroy it, because I think it took, one day, if that. But he didn't want you to look at it as that day, because it took one day. He talking about the days, what they were doing back in those days. So he wants you to go back into life, see the type of sin that they were doing that's going to be taking place when the Son of Man come. It's not going to be taking place before he come or right when he come. It's going to be taking place for years, and has it not? And that's what we not getting, because we don't have the spirit of truth of the matter of his word. We haven't learned really what it's like to live on every word that proceeds out of his mouth, because we thinking every word proceeds out of his mouth is what every word somebody is trying to teach you and deceive you and root you in a book. Not even this book is going to be able to override every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yah. When Sister Deborah, why you said that? Let me take you there. Let me take you all the way there. Let's go back up on the mountain. Let's go back up on the mountain. When Yeshua was tempted, before he was tempted, he had to be fasting 40 days. Okay, and he was hungry. He didn't eat anything. While he was preparing us how serious he's going to go into the mountaintop and be tempted. Now, when he was out there, was John the Baptist fasting? Was John the Baptist there to give him the word? Was a preacher, a bishop, a teacher? Did he have the Bible? But was he fasting? Yeah. Who was dealing with him? Who was dealing with him? We're going to go there. I got to go there. Jesus was fasting 40 days and 40 nights. We're going to go there. Okay, let's go to Matthew 4. Because what I'm understanding is it's time to speak spirit and truth only. And that means let the Ruach speak out of you and not man. In the book of Matthew, chapter 4, verse 1. Then was Yeshua led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he afterward and hungry, or I just hungered. And when his tempter came to him, he said, here you see him being tempted by who? Satan. He was led up of the Spirit into the wilderness. To what? To be tempted. So this was a assignment. Why? You and I. We too. Every day, every week, every month, throughout the year, we goes up on top of that mountain to be tempted by the Satan. He tempts our thoughts. He tempts us. So he wants you to understand that you too shall be tempted. But notice in verse 2, Matthew chapter 4 and verse 2. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward hungry. So fasting did what? It took away the desire of the flesh. Learning to put away the desire of your flesh. Learning to put away the desire of your flesh. The Most High right now wants me to tell you, go back up a notch. He got something to say. He said in Matthew chapter 4, verse 1, then Yeshua, you don't see Christ. Because, why? Why you don't see Christ in this scene? Because this is between the Son of Man for us, for our sake. So he wants you to see that. You have to recognize that. Okay? And then he said, here, look up. Matthew chapter 4, verse 1. Led up of the Spirit. You see that? Into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. You don't get it, do you? And that's why I think it's really sad. That's why I think it's really sad. It's sad. And if it wasn't for that comforter, why would y'all, Holy Spirit, make sure that you have a comforter? It's so that it can help you embrace the things you cannot change, the things that you're feeling, that you're going through, that you see so clear. The comforter come to assure you, because he's telling me to back you back up into Matthew chapter 4, verse 1. Then was Yeshua. You don't see Yeshua. You don't see Christ. You don't see Yeshua HaMashiach. You only see the Son of Man. The Son of Man was led up of the Spirit until the wilderness to be tempted by Satan. His spirit was led up to be tempted. But it was the Son of Man and his spirit was led up to be tempted by to be tempted of the devil. Now, the reason why y'all backing me back up into this is because he wants you to understand. Yeshua went up there for you and I in the flesh. Okay? His spirit was being prepared, okay, to go into the wilderness to be tempted. So his spirit was led to go there, okay, to be tempted, for that purpose, to be tempted of the devil, for you and I. And that's what's going on with our lives today. The devil taking us all kind of places, especially people with sickness. I wanted to cover that. Y'all is sitting back and he just watching them and let that devil beat y'all tails with all kind of sickness. And you know what? It's very well. It's all well. Sickness is a form of showing you ain't the faith that you thought you have. You ain't the person in Yah that you think that you are. You get what I'm saying? So, because all you have to do is read all the biblical, and you will see, not all the biblicals, all the miracles and signs and wonders that dealt with sickness. And you will see that it was always like a spirit sat there just to try you and to see the power of Yah causing those spirits to come out. It's connected to sickness. And we all it's so easy to get tied up into the sickness and not recognizing, well, let me find out the spirit and truth of the sickness. And when you go there, you'll realize I've been taking medication all these years. I've been having surgery after surgery all these years. I've been giving prompts to Satan while he lives in my body all these years. I've been saluting Satan in his sickness, all these years. He been in me and I've been praising him. I've been pampering him, making him feel that he got me because all these sickness that I have embraced. Not thinking, if greater is he that is in me, then why is this sickness greater than he that is in me and taking me over? Wham! Oh, Father, you went there, didn't you? You went all the way there. I don't know where that come from. If greater, truly, the Ruach in you, if greater is he that is in you, then how can sickness outride he that is greater that is in you? Think about that. Think about that. How can it be that sickness outweigh greater is he that is in thee than he that is in the world? Well, how is sickness outbeating he that is greater in thee? It shows you whose side you really on and how you need to stay at the altar of the Most High Yah, which is constantly asking him to renew your mind, putting you a pure heart, that you may worship and serve him and see him in spirit and truth of his word, the truth of the matter. You see? Because that's a problem. People never and could care less. And if you tell people that, they would not like you. They would hate you. They would bring every type of accusation toward you, everything, because you said it. I tell you the truth, and you hate me because I tell you the truth. When praise the Most High Ahaya. Praise the Most High Ahaya. Okay? So in Matthew chapter 4, it says, then was Yeshua led up of the Spirit. He had a spirit. He was flesh and spirit. Yeshua was the Son of Man, born of a woman, flesh, and he has a spirit. Okay? Into the wilderness to be tempted by who? The devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward hungry. What's that saying? The flesh was hungry. The flesh was hungry. Okay? So that shows you who was going on the mountain. Flesh and blood. Flesh and blood, and the spirit of flesh and blood went up to the mountain. That's what was hungry. Now watch this here. And when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the Son of Yah. Now see where y'all going with this. Okay. This is for somebody out there. And I'm going to open up the message line so you can ask questions. He said, and when the tempter came to him, he said, if I be the Son of Yah. See, the tempter was coming to see if the Son of Man had the Son of Yah with him. That's what he was tempted, want to make sure the Son of Yah is not with the Son of Man. And the Son of Yah was being tempted, and the whole purpose of him being in that position was he was led, and for us, it was Yah's will to show Son of Man as an example for us. We're going to go up even the mountain of everything he's went up there for. And this is what's going on even today, said Ahaya. It's taking place as I speak. So that's why he bringing me back to Genesis. See, I'm like, to this part of Genesis. I'm like, where are we going with this? But now it makes sense. Because it also fall into the category of in that day in which the days of Noah and the days of Lot. Now listen to this. And Matthew chapter 4 and verse 2. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterwards and hungry. Now, why? Because we're dealing with the flesh on the mountain. Okay? Being tempted. This was not the Son of Yah. This was the Son of Man. Because they reject spirit and truth in Genesis chapter 1, the whole Genesis chapter 1, even the Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, this is one position that 100% of the Hebrew Israelite men and women have not gripped, and they won't grip. They're too far out in the deep. And when you get that far out in the deep, there's no spirit and truth, ship or boat to bring you back to dry land. I'm sorry, but it isn't. You're too far out there. You're too far out in your wisdom. You're too far out in your knowledge. You're too far out in your understanding. You're too far out in your emotions. You're too far out in your feelings and in your opinion. You're too far out to where you can't find a ship nor a boat that'll bring you back to dry land. So as it says here, Yeshua is going up to that mountaintop in the flesh. Okay. In verse 3, we in Matthew chapter 4, verse 3. And when the tempter came to him, he said, if I be the Son of Yah, command that these stones be made bread. Okay. Now this is what the Father, wow, Father, you are awesome. You are so awesome. The route he taken me. See, here it's going back to 100% of the Hebrew Israelite, period, is lost without a cause. That's why this is going to be destroyed, because they still didn't get it. They never could get it. And I thank the Most High for the opportunity to bring that forth in this day and time. Because if you look at Matthew chapter 4 and verse 3, and when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the Son of Yah, command that these stones be made of bread. What the tempter was saying is I want you to reveal the Son of Yah. That's what I want you to reveal. Reveal that Son of Yah. But the tempter was led for you and I. So he had to go up there in flesh and blood. He had to go up there in his spirit, in flesh and blood, to be tempted. But Satan wanted to tempt him with who he knew was going to be a connection to him. So he's up there tempting him, but listen how Yeshua is going to respond. And he said, Matthew chapter 4, verse 3, and when the tempter came to him and said, if thou be the Son of Yah, command that these stones be made of bread. Verse 4, but he answered and said, it is written, Yeshua, the Son of Man. He's saying to Satan, it is written. Now, where is it written? Where is it written? In the heavens. So while you all are sitting thinking, this book wasn't this book here was not what he was talking about. Yeshua was not talking about this book, y'all. Yeshua was not talking about it is written. He's not talking about this book. He's talking about heaven. Because what's in the heavens is like it is on the earth. So whatever Yeshua is saying to him, when he say it is written in the bosom of the Most High, it's where it's at. That's why you cannot take Yah's word and nail it to a book. You cannot take Yah's word and nail it to a Torah. You cannot take Yah's word and nail it to a Hebrew language. You cannot take Yah's word and nail it to Greek. It can't be nailed down. So what happens? Yeshua tells Satan what? Verse 4, Matthew 4 and verse 4. But he answered and said unto him, it is written. That means me and you can't do a darn thing about it. It is written in the bosom of the Most High. Now this is what he said. Man shall not live on bread alone, but every word, not words, This book carries much words, but every word, one word, one power, one spirit. Every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Ahia, our Father. You see, that same word is mentioned 3. Testify in the heaven. Because the word is there in Yah. That's why heaven and earth can pass away. That means when it says heaven and earth shall pass away, do you know what that means? It don't mean the level of the earth. It means everything that exists in it, meaning these books. But nothing will remove out of the mouth of Yah because it's in him. The word is in him. It is who he is. So people, don't be deceived when people are trying to whoop you with the book. And with all these other books, and I see these sisters and these young men grabbing all these other books, you all lost without a cause. Because the true word rests in the bosom of the Most High, Ahia. And that's why it comes and wants to abide in your spirit and teach you from its spirit to yours, not from the book. The book is always like everything is on the earth. It's giving you something, and Yah has quickened some of it, and not to the point where, fully anointed, no, but quicken some of his message so he'll give you something to look at, to see, to read, and to keep turning back to. Once he gives you his word from him, he'll show you here. That's why he said, this book is for you to study. And in the midst of you studying, show yourself. Don't go showing somebody else this book, but show yourself. And if you tarry a moment, I will come and abide in you and teach you all things. But this book is not the all thing, y'all. I'm sorry. That's why you get some people who are prophets and prophetess that feel that they can use what they learned in all the books, especially Torah. Because they learn Hebrew and Greek, they think they can beat you down and up and all around, and they just don't know. They more lost than any one of y'all. Because they really believe that it rests within the book that gives them the power and authority to say, to chop down, to tear down, to judge, to send a person to the lake of fire, to send a person to hell from their learning and their ability to precept, to give you scriptures. No way did the Most High give them that type of power. He don't give that type of power to no man. He didn't give it to Yeshua, and you best bet he didn't give it no prophet, no prophetess. So when they sit here telling you all, you better watch it. That's sorcery and witchcraft being performed. Bit at its highest. At its highest. Okay, so I want to stick with this here because Yah has taken me here, and that wasn't a part of my lesson, but it's over. It is over. Okay, now listen to this. Matthew chapter 4 and verse 4. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yah. If you think for 1 minute that this is the mouth of Yah, you're lost without a cause. First of all, his word is him. It's in him. Okay? Now, you go to verse 5. We in Matthew chapter 4, verse 5. Then the devil taking him up into a higher city and set him on a pinnacle of the temple. This is what they did to a lot of people who got a taste of the light, and they on high. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Patriot, Twitter, did I say Facebook? And people who are preaching and teaching in these big mega churches, Oprah, Tyler Perry, and all these heathens, Gentiles, they really believe. They really believe this is where they at. They sold out on top of the mountain to Satan. And verse 5 says, Matthew chapter 4, verse 5. Then the devil taketh him up into the holy city and set it him on a pinnacle of the temple. That means a higher place. Mentally, people think YouTube, because they got all the subscribers, they got all the lights. Oh, they got the people praising them and looking at them, and every word they say, they can say, "Come go with us down to the pit." The crowd would come and follow. And if they say, "Let's go down 20 feet down," you know what? They subscriber will follow. So that's just how bad the Father is saying it is. Why? Because if it's going to be like the days of Noah, the end days, and that's where we at, they call it in that day. Every imagination of their thoughts are continually wicked and evil. Continually. So they're not seed. They're gone here, y'all. Just like Deuteronomy 28, to destroy. That's me, they gone here. Okay? So that's where they're at. And it's going to ride that for a long time. But it's going to be great suffering and famine and pestilence and different diseases and all kind of things, because they're not going to turn. The people are not going to. Where we at is not a turning stage. This is where we are at. It's not a turning stage. It's finished stage. Okay. So it says in verse 5, Matthew chapter 4, verse 5. Then the devil taketh him up in a holy city. Look at there, a holy city. That's where they have taken T.D. Jakes and all these pastors and all these famous people, that Tyler Perry, Oprah, and all these people, every last one of them on the devil platform. That's where it's taking them. Because they think where they at is where no one else can go. They think where they at is somewhere safe. They think where they at is a better place than in this United States. They think where they at is a better, but they just don't know. Y'all don't see the place. He don't see it like you see it. He don't think it like you think it. But the only way you can come close to where he see and where he think, you got to come over to spirit and truth. And that is his ways of teaching you what is, what was, and shall be. Outside of that, you just out in the midnight hour teaching a bunch of people how to keep going deeper and deeper into the hellhole. That's it. Okay. Now, verse 5. And the devil taketh him up into a holy city and set him up on a pinnacle of the temple on high. See, that's what I'm saying. And that's what people thinking. They got people thinking the fruits of their spirit is the subscribers and likes they have and the praise they get. That's evil and wicked, baby. Because the gate is going to be narrow, not a broad gate where yours go. You connected to the broad gate. The narrow gate is going to be where very few shall find. You see, they ain't gonna even know which way to go. They're gonna know only one way to go, and they're gonna go that way. But the way that people are leading people, that's not the narrow gate. That's your way. And that's your gate that leads to you. And you have successfully have gotten the great falling away has taken place, and they have fell away from your leadership, but y'all gonna deal with that too. He talks about that. I think it's in Isaiah 34. It talks in Jeremiah and Ezekiel. They talk about that, how y'all's going to deal with those who've been telling people stuff. And what they don't understand, you can't go both ways. You can't go both ways. Even though many of them think, oh, I can sprout the fence and I can talk about the word, I can talk about this, and I can come on one accord. As long as I speak of a little of this and a little of that. No, baby, it ain't gonna rumble that way. And they're content. And I'm content with them being content. Why? Because you swimmed out too deep, guess what? You can't see dry land, nor will you get a ship or a boat to try to get to dry land, because you don't see no other way. So you're going to stay out in the deep. Okay? So, and he said in verse 6, and said unto him, if I be the son of Yah, cast thyself down, for it is written. He shall, now see, he played on his intelligence. Go back up. Look what Yeshua said to him. But he said in verse 4, but he answered and said to Satan, it is written. Now look here in verse 6. Look how Satan played back on him. And said unto him, if thou be the son of Yah, cast thyself down, for it is written. Yeah, I don't get that, do you? That's how Satan worked today. He used your very words against you to deceive you through people. Now, listen to this. What is powerful to me might not be powerful to you because we're walking in two different directions. I can see the spirit and truth of the matter. I can see in here, and let's go. Matthew chapter 4, verse 3. Satan said and tempt Yeshua. And he said, if thou be the son of Yah. See, it's a sad thing when Satan knows the difference from the son of Yah and the son of man. And ignorant people on this devil platform call themselves teachers, scholars, and learners. Don't know the difference. You know why they don't know the difference? Because they forsake debate way back in Genesis chapter 1. All the way up until, especially with Genesis chapter 1 and 26. They don't know who let us is. Now listen to me. I'm going to say it again. Matthew chapter 4, verse 3. And when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the son of Yah. Hey, hold up, Father Yah, hold up. Why is it the people can't get that? He asking for the son of Yah, not the son of man. Yeshua is the son of man. The son of Yah is Christ, which is Yah's power. Satan is on the mountain calling out the power of Yah. Because he don't like that he's being tempted by the son of man. He's tempting the son of man. Because he knows that the son of man is going to get and receive the son of Yah. But he's trying to be up on the mountain seeing if the son of Yah is present with the son of man during that time. So he's not tempting the son of man. He's tempting the son of man, trying to really grip if the son of Yah is with him. And he wasn't. The son of Yah wasn't up on that mountain. It was the son of man. That's why the fasting. See, the way he was fasting, okay, if the son of Yah was in him, if the son of Yah was in him, he wouldn't need not to fast at that capacity of the way he was fasting. But so, therefore, that leads you to understand that the son of Yah wasn't present with him, even though he was present, but not with him to go, how would I say, support him in this. He was present, but not present in him to support him in this. Why? Because Yeshua had to go up on the mountain in flesh and spirit. That's why in verse 4, Matthew 4, verse 1, then was Yeshua led up of the spirit. That was Yeshua and his spirit. Okay. And then when you get to verse 3, you see the tempter came to him and said, if thou be the son of Yah. Y'all don't know who the son of Yah is. And because you don't know who the son of Yah, the Ruach ain't willing to come in you and live and abide in you. Because you're saying you believe something that you have not received. You see, you haven't received spirit and truth. So therefore, you can't believe in that which you have not received. And you have not received spirit and truth to give you the fullness and the matter of what is being said. He ain't telling you to put your trust in man and woman. He said put your trust not in them when it come down to what? Every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. Don't trust man to give you that. Because you can't. So while the Satan is up on the mountain with the son of man, and the son of man in his spirit, he's trying to find out if, he's not sure, but he's trying to find out if the son of Yah is with him. Because he knows who the son of Yah is. But he don't know if he's in Yeshua. He knows he's coming to be in Yeshua. He knows that. He knows Christ's going to connect to Yeshua. But he didn't know if, he felt that maybe he is with him already. See, that shows you Satan don't know everything. So as he has the son of man up on the mountain, he says, if thou be the son of Yah, because Satan knows that the son of Yah is different than the son of man. Okay? So, command the stones to be made of bread. Why? Why are you telling him, if you be the son of man, bring that power out? Because Satan knows that Christ, the Homicide, is the right-hand power of who Yah is. So he's not only tempting the flesh of man, the son of man, he wants him to reveal that he is the son of Yah by bringing that power out. Y'all missed it. Y'all missed it. And y'all going to continue to miss it because you're not found in righteousness. It's over. It's over. Now watch this here. And when, in verse 3 of Matthew 4, and when the tempter came to him, he asked, if I be the son of Yah, command that these stones be made of bread. He's asking for the power, y'all. Who got the power? Homicide. That's Christ. That's why who died was Yeshua. Who raised him up was Christ, Homicide. Yah's right-hand power. They came down with him in the mission. Now, you see him tell him. He said, but Yeshua, the son of man, answered, it is written, man. And when the tempter, verse 4, but he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live on bread alone. Hold up. Every denomination, every religion on the face of this earth has missed it. That's why it's over. It's no more, you don't have no more time is left, y'all. He's given us all his time. Ain't that beautiful? All his long suffering, all his time, all his mercy and grace he's given us. And we still is lost as we were in the beginning to the end. We still lost. And it's all right. He has a purpose for that too. That's the end. He's the beginning and the end. He was, he is, and he's going to be. So I want you to grip this here because if you're not walking in spirit and truth, you'll never get what this is being said. It's very powerful because he wants you to know it because this wasn't a part of my lesson. So I'm going to word it out right now. Okay. Now it says, notice when Yeshua answered him, he says, but he answered and said to Satan, Satan wants to know, wait a minute, is Christ with you or are you the son of Yah? Come on with the power. That's what Satan said in verse 3. And Yeshua said, it is written, meaning in the heavens, man I am. I'm the son of man. And man shall not live by bread alone. He's saying to you and I that's here in the flesh that we are not to live on bread alone. He's telling Satan they're going to have something outside of bread alone with them. Okay? He said, man shall not live on bread alone. He was sending a message to Satan that when Yah come, he's coming in and he's going to live in us, in them. And they're not just going to have bread alone. They're going to have his spirit. Okay? And his word. So, this is what he said. But every word that proceed out of the mouth of Yah. So, for Satan to cover for us, not for Satan, for Yeshua to cover for us on this mountain, you can hear it. Man shall not live by bread alone. Who was Satan tempting? Yeshua, the Son of Man. He was flesh, man. That's why he turned around and said, man shall not live by bread alone. Because Satan was tempting the Son of Man to see if the Son of Yah was already with him. And he wasn't. That's the whole idea of going up and in the wilderness and fasting to be tempted. Okay? tempted in the flesh only. Okay? Because we too will be tempted. So he was going up there for us. That was our example. That's why I say you don't see these Negroes mimicking that. You don't see these Negroes mimicking that. You don't see these Negroes mimicking that because they don't get it. They still don't get it. They don't get Genesis, the beginning. So what makes you think they're going to get anything else? Now, verse 5. Then the devil taking him up into the holy city. How is he able to take Yeshua, the Son of Man, born of a woman, and Yeshua's spirit, taking him here? See, he's taking him where he want him to go. Why? Because he's in the flesh. He's in the flesh. He's taking his mind there. Okay? And he said, then the devil taking him up into a higher holy city and set him on a pinnacle of the temple, figuring he can show him from a higher level of what he can offer him. Flesh. That's why you all missed it in Genesis 1. Genesis 1 and 26 as well. All the way from Genesis to Genesis, the whole Genesis chapter 1, y'all missed it. You missed the beginning, you done missed the end. So that's why people are so lost without a cause, because they missed it. And they still refuse to go back and get the fullness. They want to teach you from the level in which they were taught, and they don't understand you was taught from the rectum end, the wrong end. Okay? So it says here, then the devil taking him up into the holy city and set him on the pinnacle of the temple. And what did the devil do? And said unto him, if I be the Son of Yah. Notice he's not saying the Son of Man. You remember this is why I say it's really sad, because people don't know. They don't know. In Matthew chapter 1, verse 21. Matthew chapter 1 and verse 21. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yeshua, for he shall save his people from their sins. His name should be called what? Yeshua. You notice it don't say Jesus Christ or Yeshua HaMashiach. So this is who's up on the mountain. This is Yeshua on the mountain. Okay? Verse 5. Matthew chapter 4, verse 5. Then the devil taking him up into the holy city and set him on the pinnacle of the temple. And that's what he does to many of them. Look where YouTube set them. Give them a little check and set them, and they just think they movie stars. They think they famous. In their flesh, they just all word up. They're all that and some, and don't even know what's being prepared for them. Okay? And he says in verse 6, and he said unto him, if, that's what he keeps saying, if I be the Son of Yah. See, 100% Hebrew Israelite people who say falling under this Hebrew Israelite, whether you with the cult, or you with the awakening Hebrew Israelite movement or not, if you consider yourself a Hebrew Israelite, this is why you still lost without a cause and going to be. Okay, you're too far out in the deep. You're too far out in the deep. That's why it's finished. You're too far out in the deep. It's going to be the same like the days of Noah. You ain't going to get no better. You ain't going to change. You ain't going to do no better. Okay? But listen to this. In Matthew chapter 4 and verse 6, and said unto him, if thou be the Son of Yah. Is that not what he said in verse 3? If thou be the Son of Yah. He knows what you all refuse to know and reject. Truth. Spirit and truth. He knows that Yeshua, the Son of Man, born of a woman, is up on that mountain alone. Yes, he's alone. He's alone. Not alone, like alone. Y'all ain't that far from him, but the whole purpose of going to the mountaintop was for you and I. So we can understand this is how the devil going to take us. The same way. He's going to try our flesh. But Yeshua, the Son of Man, told him, they're not going to just live on bread. They're going to live on every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yah, You trapped. Now where you gonna go with that? See, he's telling Satan, you ain't got nothing coming. Because when the Ruach HaKodesh come, they ain't gonna just live on bread alone. They're gonna live on every word that proceeded out of his mouth. So that's what he was telling Satan. But Satan knew that he was the Son of Man and not the Son of Yah. But he wanted to see had the Son of Man connected with the Son of Yah. Okay, that's what he really wanted to see. Why he taking him up on the mountaintop? He thought he had a chance if he just dealt with the flesh. You know, he wanted to see how far can he take him. Okay, and what does he says? He says in verse 6, Matthew chapter 4, verse 6, and said unto him, if thou be the Son of Yah, cast thyself down, for it is written, he shall give his angel charge concerning thee. See, he went and bounced back on to Yeshua what he said. It is written. Now here goes Satan. Now why is it Satan know that it's written? And what Satan is saying is same thing Yeshua is saying. They saying the same thing. For it is written. For what it is written is meaning that Satan nor Yeshua can override. Hear me now, y'all. Hear me now. Satan and Yeshua cannot override the word of Yah. They cannot do it. So don't think that Yah sent a prophet nor a prophetess to override the word that proceeded out of his mouth. We can't, y'all. I'm sorry. We ain't got it. I know a lot of them are claiming they all that and all that. They can judge you to hell, to the lake of fire. But that's witchcraft and voodoo and sorcery. So don't get caught up in that. You get caught up in it, you're going to be tangled. You're going to be the ones that he's talking about in the days of Noah, doing all the wicked and evil thoughts and imagination, and he going to come and go, and you're going to be destroyed because you're going to still have that every thought. Genesis 6, verse 5, in imagination was wicked and evil continually until the day of Noah. So that's where it's taking you, okay? Now here it says, the devil, in verse, Matthew chapter 4, verse 6, I just seen, y'all is not letting me get out of this, y'all. So he's talking to somebody. Verse 6, and said unto him, if I be the Son of Yah. See, he asking Yeshua, the Son of Man, are you the Son of Yah? And if you be. See, he ain't saying you are. He's saying if you be. Because he knows that the Son of Man is up there. He knows that the Son of Yah is going to be connected to the Son of Man. But he don't know if he's connected to him now. And he's asking him, if you do, watch this here. If you be the Son, cast thyself down. For it is written. See, he played back on him. Played back on Yeshua what he said. And the reason why Satan said it is written is because he knows that everything that Yah has, his T's and I's are crossed. His I's are dotted. It's crossed. It's written. This is the way, the power of who he is. And what did he say? For it is written, he shall give you angels charge concerning thee. He shall give his angels charge concerning thee. Now, if this lead me fully to understand that Satan really wasn't sure that Yeshua didn't have Christ with him or Hamashiach with him on that mountain. Because he's sitting here saying that he shall give his angels charge concerning thee. So he's telling Yeshua that it is written that Yah would give his angels charge concerning you. See, this is why I'm telling y'all think y'all know what you know, but you don't know nothing. You see, you don't know nothing. Okay? This thing is spirit and it is true. Okay? So he's saying to Satan that he shall give his angels, with an S, charge concerning thee. Meaning he would charge his angels. He would tell them to catch you before you fall. Because it's written. Even Satan know that. And you walking around here talking about we the people. He called me to be this and me to be that. How he called you and you don't even know spirit and truth yet. Nowhere near it. Nowhere near the realm of spirit and truth. Okay, and then he said, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest any time thou dash thy foot against a stone. He knows that. He knows that already. Why is it no one can grip when the scripture said he made him Lord, a little lower than the angels? They can't grip it. The Son of Man was made little lower than the angel because he was once an angel used for the mission. He was slain before the foundation of the world for that purpose, to be the Son of Man. So he was made a little lower. That angel, Yeshua, Yeshua was made a little lower than the other angels. And here he's telling you, the Son of Man, Yeshua, that he would, it is written that Yah would allow his angels to catch you before you even hit a foot. So let me see. This is what he said. So he telling him to what? Cast thyself down. Commit suicide. Is not that what Satan does today? In great numbers. A lot of y'all don't know how many people then died in the last, let's give 1 month. It will blow your mind in this country how many people that committed suicide. That's Satan. 100 times 100. Giving them no other option but that option. And they take it. You see, to me, that's no different than people who running around here worshiping people like they some specialty to the Most High Yah, because they say that they are prophets and prophetess and seers and watchmen and Maureen and pastors and bishops. Same way. Following the wrong thing and ain't keeping your eyes on the light. So what happened? What did Yeshua say? Yeshua said unto him, it is written again. So he tell him again, it is written, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy Yah. He said, I'm the Lord, thy God. You can't tempt me to tempt Yah, because I'm not going that way. That's what he's saying to him. You can't tempt me to tempt Yah. No. And then what? Again, the devil taking him up into an excellent, exceedingly high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms. Now, this here's the kingdom also taking him higher in wealth, you would say, of the world and glory of the world and glory and the glory of them. That's YouTube. That's Facebook. I mean, this was more so like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Patriot, Twitter, and all those pages that make people think they all that on something. They're on the mountaintop, y'all. They're on the mountaintop. They praising the idea that they getting subscribers and likes and getting praise. This is what this is. Let's read it again. Verse 8. Again, the devil taking him up into an exceedingly higher mountain, because they think they high in subscribers. They hit high in likes. They high in praise. So they the fruit of the spirit. They're the true ones of the Most High Yah. Use the food and use the food and use the food. Okay? Now, and show it them all the kingdom. See how many likes you got? See how many subscribers? You're going to be able to get this here and this. And you can get this. You can get this. Keep bringing them up. And show them all the kingdoms of the world. Showing them what all they would give them if they keep on giving messages that's not spirit and truth. And you get a little check on the side. Okay? Okay. And then what did he say? And glory and the glory of them. You see? All the kingdom and the glory of them. That's what they like to be doing. They like to be glorified on these YouTubes and Facebook and Instagram, Twitter and all. They want to be glorified, especially YouTube and Facebook. They want to be recognized and glorified. They want to be praised. They want you to put them on pedestals. And that's what they're doing. But they're putting you there, and there's no rewards for you. And that's what you don't understand. Because no spirit and truth is being spoken. When you start speaking spirit and truth, you watch. Ain't nobody going to want to listen to you. And that's the way it's supposed to be. Because the gate is very narrow, just like our Father said that it would be. And then what he say? That is more like YouTube and Facebook. When you read verse 8, Matthew chapter 4, verse 8, again, the devil taking him up into an exceedingly high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them. See, and this is all the Facebook, YouTube, Patriots, and all this. Anyone over, oh, they see all that. Woo! I want to be famous. I'm known because I got 100,000 subscribers. I'm known because I got 500. I got 1,000,000. I want to be known. And they movie stars. You know, watch this here. Same thing with actors. Tyler Perry, Oprah, and all of them. They want to be. The devil showed them the kingdom of the world and what the glory of them, and the people are praising them. The people are praising them, and they thinking they up on high horse. Just like a lot of people don't understand idol. Back in the days, they used to make statues and make certain things an idol and worship them. Guess what? The idol today is people. The people on these platforms are worshiping the people. They the idol, and they thinking that guy ain't gonna he gonna just stand back and let you enter somewhere. No, he ain't going for it. See, so here we go in verse and then he said, and in verse 9, Matthew chapter 4, verse 9, and said unto him, all these things will I give thee if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Do you think for 1 minute that if Hamashiach was there, that he would be saying that to Yeshua? Do you think for 1 minute, if Hamashiach was there, he would be saying those sort of things to Yeshua? No, he would not. But this lets you know that Yeshua was on the mountain in flesh and blood, and his spirit, not the spirit of Yah, nor Hamashiach. You see, he had to go up there for you and I. They're giving an example of how you can stand in this flesh against Satan with every word that proceed out of the mouth of Yah. Not every word proceed out of the mouth of people, but every word that proceed out of the mouth of Yah. Yeshua was standing up there being tempted by Satan. So what makes you think Yah gonna let his word come out of the mouth of man and woman? Because they said they teaching. It can't be done. It cannot be done, and it will not be done. So I, Sister Deborah, sit and I say unto you, you have to read that and get the fullness of that. Now watch this here. He's telling him how he should worship him. Do you think Satan would come up upon Hamashiach and tell him to worship him? He couldn't. He couldn't. He wouldn't have never said nothing like that if a Hamashiach was present. But he wasn't. And that's going back to Genesis chapter 1 leads me to understand in its fullness that it's finished with people understanding anything, because they didn't understand Genesis 1 and they don't understand Matthew 4. They don't understand that. Because you got to be able to understand Genesis chapter 1, the whole chapter, before you're able to understand Matthew chapter 4 and any other verse. You see? Okay, now it says here, then said Yeshua unto him, get hence, Satan, for it is written that thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, meaning his God. That's who he should worship. You see, Lord, Lord, that's Yeshua, my God. He's talking about his God. That's who he should worship. And him only shall thou serve. So if he is Yah on the mountain, then why is he talking to Satan about and him only shall I serve? Because Yeshua, Sister Deborah, and all of those he said that was elect, and if it was so, it would fool them. They know. And that narrow gate is very, very, very narrow. And very few shall find their end, because it's deep. This thing is spirit and truth. And that's what people are not going to find. Spirit and truth. Okay? And then the devil, verse 11, then the devil leave him. And behold, angels came and ministered to him. That's the closing key right there. That's the end game. The end game of Matthew chapter 4, it starts from Matthew 1 to 11. The end game was this. Then the devil leaveth him, and behold, angels came and ministered unto him. Why did they come to minister him? They knew him as an angel. They came ministering to him that he did a good job and how well he took on that task alone. He sure took on a task right there for you and I. That was the main task he took on for you and I as an example. And the angels came to minister unto him. Now, if Hamashiach was with him, he would need the angels. Hallelujah. Y'all don't know they don't. He would need the angels. Satan wouldn't be up there tempting him if Hamashiach was up there. And notice everything Satan tempted him with had to do with the Son of Yah, power. See, Satan wanted to see, hey, do you got that power with you? You got that power on you? Satan know that. Sister Deborah know that. But why are you so lost? Why? The light been on since Genesis. The light been on since Genesis chapter 3, verse 24. He left us flaming sword that it may turn every way, that you may find your way to the tree of life. That's why the gate has to be found, the narrow gate to the tree of life. It's sad. It's real sad. And the more I think about it, kind of brings sadness to my heart. Okay, and in Luke 17, let's complete that, and that'll be it. Because where I just took you, I wasn't really planning on going there, but I give my Father all glory and honor. I give him all glory and honor. It's a sad thing. This is going on 3 hours. It's 2 hours and 32 minutes. But guess what? The sad part is about it. Guess what, y'all? That was some good stuff I just gave y'all. Strictly 100 spirit and truth. People walking in darkness wouldn't even catch that. So whoever it was for, and I say whoever because it could be for one person, eat of it, take of it, okay? And Luke 17, let me finish that. Luke 17 and verse, what was that, 26, okay? We covered that. Luke 17 and verse 26. You all read all of that. Okay. Luke 17 and verse 26. We covered 26, but I'm going to go shoot down it. And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the Son of Man. And you got to understand the Son of Man. That's the Son of Man. Okay? He's coming back to collect the sheep, what is his. And once he collects them, he's going to separate them because all of them are not his. There's going to be goats on one side and there's going to be sheep on his side. Okay. Now, verse 27. And they did eat, they drank, they married, wives. That's going back to Genesis chapter 6. Women, men, read the whole 6. Don't just hear what men are talking about, giants and all the fallen angels. Them angels weren't fallen. When he said the Son of Man, the Son of Man is different. Go here. Let me explain something to y'all. Oh, Father, what am I going to do with these people? Whatever you're going to do with them, Father. I salute it. Whatever. Chapter 6. I don't know what. But I'm loving it, Father. You know me inside. You know me inside and out. Okay, when it says in Genesis chapter 6, verse 2, that the sons of man, but the sons of Yah, the sons of Yah are still angels that belong on Yah's side. These are angels that belong on Yah's side. These are angels that belong on Yah's side. Okay? So when they begin to tell y'all fallen angels, this has nothing to do with that. Okay? The fallen angels are not the same as the Son of Yah. Do you get that? The sons of Yah are those angels that Yah has missioned down here. Okay? Let me give you an example. Let me give you a quick example. Okay. Here in the book of Job, first chapter. The first chapter, 6th verse. Now there was a day when the sons of Yah came to present themselves before Ahiah. The sons of Yah is angels that's on Yah's side. So see how they lied. And I'm going to explain to you, because you don't know Genesis chapter 1, you're lost without a cause. You're out in the ocean and you ain't going to ever find your way to dry land because you forsaken spirit and truth, period. Okay? So here is the sons of Yah. Sons of Yah are angels that, let me explain to y'all what sons of Yah is. Sons of Yah are not falling angels. Sons of Yah is not falling angels. The sons of Yah is the angels that Yah sent down that works on his behalf. And what happens? The lamb was slaughtered, which was an angel, to come back down to redeem them back from which they came, which is their first estate. Now you have fallen angels, those are for Satan. But don't confuse them because you don't know Genesis chapter 1, the beginning, when everything was righteous and pure and no sin. See, y'all execute that. And when you lose the first, you lost the beginning and the end and anything in between because you didn't catch it in the beginning. The fallen angels are Satan angels. But the sons of Yah are angels in which Yah had sunk down. See, all the earth could not be just Satan angels. Yah mixed his in as well. Those are the ones he says going to be found blameless. Now, as in Genesis, you see here, Genesis chapter 2, Genesis chapter 6. Come on, y'all, keep up with me, please. Genesis chapter 6, verse 2. That the sons of Yah saw the daughters of men, and they were fair. The sons of Yah are the angels that belong to Yah. Here we go again. Genesis chapter 6, verse 4. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of Yah came into the daughters of men. The sons of Yah are not the giants, y'all. Those are the sons of Yah. Okay? And it says that, and when the sons of Yah came into the daughters of men, they bare children of them. Okay? And the same became mighty men, which of old men and renown. The reason why you don't know why they were mighty men and men of renown is because they were the sons of Yah. You see, they was the sons of Yah. That's why they were mighty men and men of renown. This is not connected to the giants. It says that giants in the earth those days, there were. This is no connection to the sons of Yah. He's saying there was giants in those days. And also that when the sons of Yah came into the women of man, daughters of men, they bare children to them, and saying became mighty. See, these children that the sons of Yah had, they became mighty men and men of renown. So this is why they became mighty and renowned, because they was the sons of Yah's lineage. You see, it's the giants has no connection. That's just foolish man's mind to throw you off. See, don't fool with that, because you go back into Job chapter 1 and verse 6. Now there was a day when the sons of Yah came to present themselves before Ahiah. See? And Satan came also among them, always following them. Why? Because his follows him. See, he's coming around men that are the sons of Yah. That's why he following them. Because he's saying, what did he say to him? He say in verse 7, Job chapter 1 and verse 7, and Yah said unto Satan, hence cometh thou. And Satan answered to Ahiah and said, from going to and fro in the earth, from walking up and down in it. See, he wanted Yah to allow him to come have his way with the sons of Yah, but he wasn't having it. He just asked him, well, okay, I tell you what, have you tried my servant Job? He wasn't going to let him have the sons of man. They came to present themselves to Yah. So he had to go for the one that Yah knew wasn't going to be easy, so he told him to go to Job. He gave him that mission to go to Job. But that's why he comes in the midst of the Son of Man, because he knows the Son of Man, the Son of Yah, not the Son of Man, but the Son of Yah. He knows, Satan knows that those are the angels that was brought down here for Yah, on Yah's behalf. He knows that. I knows that, but you don't. You don't know it because you missed Genesis chapter 1. You still playing around with Genesis, Adam and Eve, and Adam being this and that, man being this and that. You missed the whole creation from the beginning to the end when you missed Genesis 1, the whole chapter. You missed Genesis 1, you missed the whole Bible. Sad, but it's true. Okay, so when you're in Luke and you hear where it's saying, and they eat, they drank, they married wives, and they were given in marriage until the day of Noah. Okay, here he's talking about what took place during the flood in the days of Noah. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 6. That's what I was holding on. And he said in Genesis chapter 6 and verse 4, there are giants in the earth in those days. That's there. And also after that, okay, giants. After that, when the sons of Yah came into the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, and the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. Mighty and men of renown. And watch this here, verse 5. And Yah saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that his imagination and thoughts of his heart was only evil and wicked continually. And it repent Yah that he made man on the earth, and it grieved him in his heart. And let me see something. Where he was saying that verse 3, Genesis chapter 6 verse 3, and Yah said, my spirit shall not always strive. My spirit shall not always strive with man, for he is also flesh. What was he saying? My spirit shall not always strive. with man, for that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall, he cut his days down. But you notice the mystery is in my spirit. Notice spirit is not capitalized. My spirit. You see that spirit? Because Satan, spirit, would oversee. And in this like manner, that's what happened to the ones that came down of Yah. Okay, now let's go back to Luke chapter 17 and verse 27. Then they did eat, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage until the day of Noah, until the ark and the flood came and destroyed them all. Y'all want y'all to understand, okay, what Yeshua is saying. When he said marrying wives and drinking and eating, this is not just basically eating, y'all. This is just not basically drinking and marrying and giving in marriage. It's all kind of wickedness, whoremongering, whoring, and sex trafficking, messing with children, messing with women, and selling babies and breeding virgins and all this whole mess. This is what he's saying. That's what's going to be going on. He's just letting you know. Yeshua said, he watching y'all. That's all Yeshua saying. He's watching y'all. So y'all thinking it's just something basic if you want to. Y'all better hear the prophets that y'all ascended. Because if you think it's just basic things that she's talking about, no. Y'all trying to cover it up with just basic marriage and giving in marriage. That's why nobody don't care about what's going on with this sex trafficking. No one don't care about raising virgins, as the one ignorant pastor is doing, thinking he doing something. Like it's something for a man to have a virgin. Only thing it is it's lust off. That's it. Because the mindset is not even developed. It's not even nowhere near developed. I wouldn't even want to have children by somebody in this day and time that's a virgin. Their mind ain't together. It's not there, and it's not going to get there. It's not going to be there. But they're not looking for the mind and the support and the helpmate. They're looking for a sex toy. Okay, so y'all, Yeshua is saying to me, Deborah, so let him know that y'all sees behind it all. So then it says in verse 28, we in Luke 17 and verse 28, likewise also as it is in the days of Lot. They did eat, they drank, they bought. Now listen to this. They drank, they bought, they sold, and they plant. You hear that? So all these people out here thinking they're going to be able to outbeat Yah at what he say that's happening, and that what is wicked and evil and what's going on according to what he's seeing. Listen to Yeshua. He's sitting here laying it out. These are the things that's going to be happening because they're going to be preparing themselves for the days to come, the storm, the cares of the world. They're going to be preparing it. Listen to what he said they're going to be doing. And Yeshua said, this is deep. It's going to be like the days of Noah. So that's that sexual and all of that stuff that's just going on. And I like it where it says, and they're going to be destroyed. All of them. Okay. Then verse 28. Likewise, we in Luke 17 and 28. Likewise also as it was in the days of Lot. They did eat. They drank. They bought. They sold. I like that. He's letting you know they're going to buy. They're going to be selling. They're going to be planting and building because they're preparing the way that they're for sure going to survive. Y'all want you to know that. In these type of people, in their heart of heart, this is what they're doing. And they don't understand. They're trying to do it against a higher. Yeshua then prophesied it. And guess what? They don't give a rat's behind that Yeshua has prophesied. The prophets has spoken it. They don't care. They just trying to prepare. How do you know they don't care, Deborah? How did you know they're not listening? Because Yeshua prophesied in the days. This is what they're going to be doing. So he ain't saying they might. Or he think. He said this is the way it's going to be going. And I liked how he connected the days of Noah with the days of Lot, because that same sexual spirit, homosexual, and all this whoremongering and this here sex slave and all this here things that they're doing, all this stuff that they're doing, guess what? This is what they was doing in the days. This is what they was doing. Okay? That made Yah say that's it. They have repeated it all, but worse. Okay? So it says here in 28, I love what it says, but you have a lot of people bypassing it. You have a lot of people bypassing it. And it's telling me to go to Genesis 19 and 1. Let's see what's in Genesis 19 and 1. What is it trying to say? And there came two angels in Sodom and Gomorrah and Lot and sat at the gate. Lot seeing the rose up. Okay. No, that's not it. They're just telling you the days a lot. So I like this here what Yeshua is saying. And I'm sure it's in Mark and John as well. But I like this because it's connect that homosexual that we're actually in. And then, like I try to explain to you, we got 75%, maybe give or take, 80% of our tribe of Judah has been in that closet and out of that closet, under the bed, and in all kind of ways. When it come down to that sexual homosexual thing, a lot of them are in it, child. A whole lot more than you can even imagine. Okay, but they're in it, and I like how Yeshua is calling it out. He's calling it out. It's going to be like in the days of Lot. He's just letting you know the days, meaning the ways, the people's actions. Okay, so this paint a prettier picture. They eat, they drink. That just some of the actions. But the days of Lot was wicked and evil, sexual, whoring, homosexuals, and that's, he says, it's going to be like that as well. But the difference in this day is different than the days of Noah. He's giving you some actions of Noah that's going to be displayed. But you got the son of a man coming back, which is Yeshua coming back for what he is. And when he come back, these things going to be still going on. They ain't going to give a rest behind he coming. They going to know that he's coming any day. They don't care. They're going to be doing all this that they doing all the way up until the day he take his, and that's it. And they still going to be doing it. They still going to be doing it. And it says in 28, I like what it says because it also identified what a lot of people are caught up in. Eating, drinking, they bought, they sold. A lot of people are raising, selling, and buying, and planting, and this is just showing you their minds is going to be going all the way out there in thinking that they're going to be their own provider. They're going to be what keeps them. What I have, what I got, what I plant, what I sold, what I buy, it's going to be my keeper. And y'all going to let it be their keeper. Okay? And it says in verse 3, even those thou shall be, even thy shall it be in the days of the Son of Man is revealed. I like that. I like that. So it's going to be like that. And I, Sister Deborah, really took on a pretty good message. And in it all, I will say again, it's finished. It's over. It is over. See, Sister Deborah gave you stuff you ain't never thought to, how would I say, meditate on and read and study. So go back and just get your Bible, sit down and go over that stuff and let the Ruach HaKodesh teach you it in its purest form, spirit and truth. Okay? Because he didn't tell you to trust in no man. He said trust in him. In him. So I, Sister Deborah, I hope someone and everyone that have heard this message. I know I went 3 hours, but it's 3 hours of very potent information. And I will say we have gotten to the point where we are so far. We in midnight hour and we thinking it's time to party hardy. It's time to we prepare our way for the darkest of the darkness. We ain't letting Yah do it. See, when Yah is preparing us, He's preparing us from the inside to endure what's going to happen on the outside. But if we prepare on the outside, then we only can prepare for what's on the outside. And then our hearts fail us. Then our hearts and who we are in our spirit man won't stand. You see? And it is without the endurance spirit, the faith spirit, the long-suffering spirit, the spirit and truth. Without the things that really gonna be the what we need to hold us up in these evil and darkened days. My mission is over. As far as me going on here thinking I'm going to win souls, because he said it's so pitch dark out there, it's going to be like the days of Noah and the days of Lot. They ain't going to budge until it's too late. Until after it's late, it's going to be late. See, what people don't know about the days of Noah and the days of Lot, 99.9 died. That's the mission. That's the end game. And a lot of them don't know that. So a lot of them thinking they're going to bypass that because Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. No, you're not, baby. No, you're not. He allowed you to have your way from the beginning to the end, and you never gripped what he was saying in spirit and truth. So our sister Deborah says shalom, and I hope that someone out there enjoy it. And I will be opening it up for comments. So I, sister Deborah, says shalom and shalom.